Welcome back, everyone, to 1 Million Minds. How are you doing, Balaji?
Doing great, Rajni. It's been a productive week for me, so I have lots to share.
That's awesome. Okay, yes, there's always news. So let's start with some current news that's happening. There's always a new model coming out. So let's talk through that. And then I'm excited about what you have to show from your demo that you have for us. But let's start with something that almost everyone who has Amazon Alexa in their house, right? So we've made fun of, I shouldn't make fun of it, but we wish that Alexa was a little bit smarter. She's going to respond to me now, but also Siri, these smart assistants have not really been very smart so far. But the good news is now Amazon is doing an Alexa Plus, combining Alexa with LLMs to be able to do a true personal assistant. It's $20 for people who don't have Prime, but I think almost every one of us we know has Prime. So I'm looking forward to seeing this. It's supposed to be there's two things I learned, right? This is great because if it actually works, it'll be better than right now. I just use it for a timer or to check the weather. That's really all. And then I get notification when something's delivered. Right? So there's really not very smart things happening when I'm just using it for this.
A grocery
But
list if you're Prime shopping, right? Yeah, we use that for that. Yeah.
make a list. Yeah, I just use it for three things. It's mostly a kitchen timer is what I use it for, or
Gotcha.
like a speaker, right? So it would be great to be able to have. I mean, I think we've talked about this, being able to talk to ChatGPT when I'm driving and have a meaningful conversation, learn new things. I learned so much about some history topic that I was interested. Within an hour, it was way more than I could have read anywhere, right? So I'm not saying that's what I'm doing with Alexa, but just being able to have a smart assistant talk to, I think would be great. But I think there's a couple of things that was interesting about this is it is model agnostic. I didn't even know Amazon had a model called Nova. So you can either use that or Claude, depending on the task. I think it's a big ecosystem, right? Amazon. If you can tap into it, it just makes sense,
Right.
and also just now it makes it mainstream for anybody who has this device at home. So we've had similar promises. So I'm cautiously optimistic until I get to see it. But your thoughts?
Oh, my thoughts are it's good and bad, right? So we all know Alexa's listening to you all the time. It just probably doesn't do respond now. I'm fearful that what it's going to respond next with what. But it's exciting because now that all this information that they gather are probably going to get put to use for some way that's coming back to you with some value, right? So, like you said, you do very basic stuff, and now that you add these agentic framework behind it and different models specialized in special things, maybe we get to see some productivity boost out of it. Again, I think Alexa is more towards your personal life, right? I think it's taking care of everything in Amazon ecosystem, and I'm more eager to see what they are able to do with it. Let's see.
But now that we talked about it, one of the things that we've always, or at least I've been a big fan of, is a personal assistant or a companion. So if your older parents have one at home, can you really? With it, there's so many applications right now. I can install some applications on it to control my lights and all that. But being able to install like a character AI or something like that who can communicate, make sure they're taking their medication right. I'm just using this as a use case, right? But really have somebody that you can talk to, and then that information is summarized for your guardian. That'd be a great use case, I think.
I mean, the home automation and home security is definitely one of the use cases. Thanks for bringing that up. I think
Mhm.
there could be because you can use these models to monitor the patterns and monitor other things in the neighborhood, whatnot, right? And then you can alert and also probably, like you said, if there's senior people at home, maybe it can assist in some way. Yeah.
Awesome. I know this new things coming out. So with everything, okay, we have to talk about this. I know I've been using Claude 3.7 Sonnet. So a lot of things we were talking about is highlighting that. For example, Replit is coming out with the agent version 2. We showed a similar agent on
Right.
how I used it for free. It was really cool. Right now, the agent 2, it basically can build an app from a prompt, It's even nicer and is using Cloud 3.7 Sonnet deleted. So really, you can see that almost every week, one of these model providers is like leapfrogging somebody else. I cancel my chat GPT and I'm using Anthropic Claude now, and I can tell again, I don't use it. This is really better from a deep thinking, from a research and math, and it's all over Twitter. Everybody's super excited about it. But again, what in 2 weeks when we talk, I'm pretty sure there's another model that's overtaken it. But as it stands now, this is the newest, shiniest toy, and everybody's excited about it. Have you had a chance to use it?
The Sonnet, yeah, I'm a subscriber to Claude as well. I use a combination of ChatGPT and Claude for different purposes. Like I told you before, I think when I need some marketing flair, I go to ChatGPT. When I want something more academic type of a response, I go to the Claude type of thing. But more importantly, I think when it comes to coding task, I think I see that Claude is definitely doing better in some areas of coding as opposed to ChatGPT type of response. Again, people plug all of these and play in platforms, and maybe cursor is another option. But that's my use case overall, right? Anything with our podcast, I always by default go to ChatGPT because it has that little bit of a marketing flair rather than Claude.
Agree. So we'll continue to keep the audience updated how all of our testing and building with this, but it's exciting because every day something new is coming up. But all not, I mean, we'll talk a little bit about ChatGPT 4.5 before we wrap up. But 11 Labs always been one of my favorite companies. I think we've talked about it for a year and a half now.
Yeah.
But they have a new speech to text model called Scribe that's been released. So it's of course it's sharing benchmarks. But then I think the other Hume is another one that is converts text based on, and it has a layer of human nature to it that is amazing. So as a combination of 11 Labs and being able to do some emotion control and voice together, both models integrated is really a really cool stack for creators. And again, everybody I talk to, they've carved such a cool niche for them that nobody's really taken over them. They're just building every day something new. So I'm really excited about where 11 Labs started and where it is now, or 18 months later from the time we've been following it. So the combination of this partnership is amazing. For if you're a creator, it just feels like it's magic as we start using these two things together.
Absolutely. I think with audio in general, right? I think, yeah, 11 Labs definitely is faster, much better sounding audio. But I think we did one of the demos before with both of us on webcam, plus audio, plus text. Hume is one of the research companies that got funded to do this in empathetic AI, right? So now it can listen into your tone in your voice, or the way you write it, then it brings up the emotion of the text back in voice. That's an added layer on top of just plain text to speech or speech to text. I think that's very essential if you are connecting to the system or making it sound realistic, right? Otherwise, it's very robotic and it doesn't even understand the context when it comes to emotions. Yeah, that's why I think Hume has a lot of legs, room to run. Yeah.
So I think that's what we're gonna realize is, and we start using the new, the first topic we talked about, right? Alexa Plus. It is gonna sound robotic. It is not gonna sound with any emotion. You can, but imagine being able to have that with a human layer on top, where if you are, let's say you're sad or you're happy or something,
Exactly.
it can pick up that nuances and be able to respond correspondingly, would make it an amazing companion or even a assistant, right? So I think it'll be a step in the right direction if it works. But having this layer of emotion, I think, just makes it more quote unquote.
Yeah,
human,
at
right?
first
So
it's mimicking the text. Now it's going to mimic your
yeah,
emotion, right? So the question is, can you get to a stage where actually it can feel the emotion? We don't know. Well, that's a separate topic, but at least it's starting to mimic emotions now, right?
yeah. We've seen movies, so I can't wait for that to happen. So, but let's wrap up with the. Not everything was exciting, or people were doing cartwheels. 4 point ChatGPT 4 GPT 4.5 was released. And even Sam Altman says that he wasn't very. He basically said it's a giant, expensive model that won't crush any benchmarks, right? So even he started that way. But Andre Harpati, he said it's a little bit better in everything, especially writing, but it's very hard to notice. Does better understanding, less hallucination, slightly better word choice, but nothing revolutionary, right? I think this neuron is basically it kind of perfectly encapsulates the AI industry's current dilemma. Incredible technology advancements that yet to justify the astronomical cost. So it's
Correct.
I think they
Yeah.
spent like 500 million to train 4.5. As Sam also acknowledged, the company is running out of GPUs. They're spending a lot of money for I'll call it incremental improvement. So I don't know. It's a there was a little controversial take in their writing too. It's like Nvidia stock sold off right after 4.5 was released. So we're trying to figure out, are we hitting some walls in some of these non-reasoning models, like hitting their threshold?
Right, right. I think, yeah, it's already landscape is separating between the non-reasoning and the reasoning, and what can we do with the reasoning models? How does it help the agentic framework um, in terms of getting it to much more predictable output type of thing, right? I think in general, if you're talking about the internet in your pocket type of a model, um, yeah, there's only so much data there, and it's already sucked up all the data. What else can it provide as a value that's astonishing, right? So that's the key question. And where does this data come from, right?
Yeah, I still can get over $500 million, and everybody's like yawning at it. So you know what I'm saying? Like it's pretty incredible from where we started, but it is not a just leap and bounds. I think everybody's expecting next one to be AGI. So
Ex-
anything below that is people are just going to walk
I
away,
think it's
right?
just the they call it the normalization effect, right? So you have the wow factor,
Yes.
and over time it's like, okay, it's nothing. Let's show me something even better. So you just keep going
I
after
think
that.
what did they call it? Because when where we were before any of this, even I'll just call it Chat GPT 2.0, and we saw three, I mean, and four when we lost our mind. But now we're like, oh, whatever, right? Let's just bring more. Even 11 labs, when I first used it, I was losing my mind. I couldn't stop smiling. But now, compared to the 18 months, it's been incredible improvements, but it's been like a little bit at a time. So you kind of take it in stride. But if you woke somebody up when it was released and now you show them 18 months later, they would be thrilled at how far everything has come, right? So
Yeah,
we
for
are definitely getting normalized.
Yeah, for someone under the rock, yeah, this is all fantastic, right? Oh, I can converse with the system. I can talk to it. Can I have it talk back in video and visual? Because we have been doing this for multiple years. Yeah, you're right. You just got normalized. Okay, that's already there. Show me something even better. Right?
I know. We've gotten
But the
really
truth,
spoiled
but
with
the
how it
truth
has
is,
been.
they all existed in small pieces, prototypes that we did to show. I think slowly they are getting to production grade, right? That's what is happening behind the
That is
scene. Everything is getting scaled out, so
for
hopefully it becomes
enterprise
cheaper,
users.
right? Or it becomes cheaper.